Hello, welcome to another Warhammer Wednesday. In this video, I thought we'd do another update on my series on making my own Warhammer Quest. In the last episode, I don't know why I've started it like a old TV show, but in the last episode, yeah, I got the box, so I'm more happy with this. And I've had a lot of time on my hands, as I'm sure we all have just recently. So I've been managing to get quite a bit done on this project. I've got some stuff next to me as well to show off in a minute, but let's have a look inside the box. Now, instantly, you can see it's quite packed now. Yeah, most of it we've seen before. We've seen tokens, seen a lot of these models, but we have loads of tiles. Look at that, that's not in the base game. Where to begin? I can't remember if I showed these off last time, but got a bag of 100 of these little dice. If I did show these off last time, I'm sorry, but if I didn't, here they are. So these are going to be used for the wound tokens as is. So we've got those. We saw these last time. These are markers. I'm still got these 3D ones in. I don't know if I'm going to replace those with 2D and just keep these when I go full 3D with it, but I've got these in there for now. I might print some off like this and make some spell cards. I've got these, but here is the first thing I want to show off before we get to the stuff. I've cut up the hero cards. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this just to take stuff out and show you. Yep, I've cut up the hero cards and so forth. But you may notice this is looking a bit bulgy because I've got a barbarian. So what I've done is cut them out, and on this I've mounted it on some chipboard. So that's some 3mm chipboard. So they're good, and same with the counters. So I got this on the actual cards themselves. I haven't mounted them on chipboard, but what I've done is I've just glued them back to back, so they're quite sturdy as is without being mounted. So you got the fluff on the back, rules at the front for a level 1 warrior, but still no models actually as of yet. Here we have the dwarf with his rope. His token's gone missing. I have to find that. Is it still in the bag? No, I don't know where his token's gone, but he does have one. Oh, it's stuck underneath. Here it is. Token. Yep, no model for the dwarf yet, but I do have the substitute model I'm using still. So totally no model for the barbarian. I'll use the Hero Quest one for now. For the dwarf, yeah, we're going on this model. The elf, again, same sort of thing, double-sided, healing potion on card, token. I don't know if I can see the elf model, because I think we're using that in Advanced Hero Quest at the moment, so it's not in this box, but yeah, we've seen the model. Yeah, wizard, still don't have the official model. Breaking news, I've just got my first official box set miniature. I've got the wizard. It was painted, so I've stripped it. Unfortunately, I couldn't use my strip of choice, which is Dettol, due to it being quite difficult to get hold of at the moment. So I used Methylated Spirit. It worked okay. Not as good as Dettol, I don't think. Not as quick. But yeah, it's the wizard. Yay. And what I have done for this is same. Is that and his power tokens, again, just mounted on 3mm chipboard. But what's all this? Well, you see, I've printed out some of the other characters as well. The Halfling Thief, and what I've done is, I believe these originally come from and these might be Little Monk. I've had these on my hard drive for ages, but if you recognise where these originally come from, it doesn't actually say, but these are sort of like OCR versions of the books. I don't know if you scanned them, but it doesn't actually say where they come from. So if it is Little Monk, because he's the one that does most of this sort of stuff for Warhammer Quest, please let me know down below in the comments. That'll be great. So I can say thank you. But yeah, so I printed these out. Printed out double-sided. Got one of these spine binders, so I got these. So I got that's the Halfling Thief with these rules. Card same as normal. He didn't come with a token, but whilst I don't have an official model, was there one? But I have been on eBay and got this. And this is going to be the Halfling model I'm going to use for the Thief. He looks quite roguish. It's a proper Games Workshop one. What's his name? Noddy? Noddy? Is there an official Halfling Warhammer Quest model? I've not found one, so I'm just going to use this. As I said, he looks suitably roguelike with his cloak and his sort of bag of swag, so that's what I'm going to use. The Questing Knight. The Bretonnian Questing Knight. He has a load of stuff, so he has his card. He doesn't have fluffing about his special rules. He has a token. He has a questing favour. It's double-sided, so it has the table on the back. He has the Quest Fulfilled card, nothing on the back but chipboard, and the Knight's Quest, again chipboard. And I managed to track down the official model for this. Got hold of a Bretonnian Knight as well. There he is. It does have his shield, it's just not attached. There's his shield. One Bretonnian Knight, Questing Knight. Next up, the Pit Fighter. Again, double-sided. Pit Fighter with his special rules on the back. His token, his Pit Flower item, and his Heal It, as in heal it, potion. So it's the rule start. Apparently this is the best healing item in the game, so I've got that. And I only blew and managed to track down the official models of this too. Got the Pit Fighter. This was painted sort of I've had some flesh tone on. It was mainly painted white, and tried stripping it with Dettol. I don't know what else coming on the camera. Got most of it off, but it's really stubborn, so I'm just gonna leave it, being I'm undercoating white anyway, so shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, Pit Fighter, proper model. So also, yeah, I also have this printed out for the Pit Fighter, and somewhere one for the Bretonnian Knight. I forgot to mention that when I was looking at the Bretonnian Knight. We have that. And last but not least, I haven't printed up all the available characters yet, just the ones that, blooming hell, it's the Witch Hunter, and I only managed to track down the model for this. Oh wow, I've wanted this model for a good long while, or just a Witch Hunter model, but managed to get one, so really pleased. Really happy with that. Something about a Witch Hunter I like. So I'm just going to paint them all up. But yeah, he's got his magic amulet and his faith and so forth. No token though. But likewise, the Witch Hunter sheet in here. So what these are, start with the Witch Hunter just in case you didn't know, because I was flipping through them. It's basically the rules from, a bit of background about what the character is, who he is, the rules for them, and then going to the advanced rules section, it has, they can do different things when they visit settlements. The Bretonnian Knight is really cool. He has to go and visit the Baron first of all, to honour him. It could be things that happen during there. The Bretonnian Knight is wicked, so I'm probably actually going to play that first. But then different trainings, you know, they can do. His faith here explains what his faith is. This one looks pretty detailed as well. But not only that, at the back of all of them, you have the chart for the levels, taking them up to level 10, so you can level them up. So that's pretty cool. So we have those. Yeah, so that's the characters. So got all those printed out. Managed to track down most of the official models. Ironically, apart from the wizard, that's the only one I've got official. But I still actually really beginning to like this dwarf for it. So we got that. What else is it? Well, I've got a couple of Minotaurs, one with club, one with a axe from the game, so these are the official ones. That's great. You need 3, but if you remember way back when I first started this, I had a D&D miniature. I think this is from, oh, it's a Reaper miniature. Remember this guy? So for now, he looks totally different from these. He's quite realistic and these are quite cartoony. I prefer the look of these for the world I'm in. Great if I'm doing D&D, I'd definitely use that. So I probably will try and track down another one, but for now, if I ever play it, I can just, and I get 3, he can get involved as well. Managed to get hold of some Warhammer Quest spiders, got 4 of them in these lovely bright colours, so obviously repaint. So that's what they look like. You know, these are, I consider, somewhat expensive for what they are, so I want to get an alternative. And here is that alternative. Reaper Bones. Do plastic spiders. A few quid. So I haven't got 12 because I've got as many as I could get of these, which is 6. So I'll probably try and get 2 more of the official ones. So I've got 12 in total, but half of each kind. So that's what they look like. Even though these are the same spiders, but they're just packaged different. These are dark plastic on a sort of sprue. These are just individual, but the same mold. These are called vermin spiders. So let's have a open, have a look. There you go. Yeah, they're just little spiders. So obviously where the white is glaring off, perhaps I should try and open, see if the grey is any better. Mini unboxing. So better? See these are better? Yeah, a bit better. Well, it's very like all Reaper Bone stuff. It's very bendable plastic. It's very soft plastic, which is not a bad thing. That's quite a good thing. It does mean you can sort of put it in water and adjust the position, but that's how they look together. These are a wee bit bigger, but not a lot in it really. I hope you can see these have still got the big bulba size that these have. 2 fangs. 2 bad mixes, you know, you put those together, you're not really gonna notice too much. That's sort of somewhat in keeping, so yeah, that's the spiders. What I've done is begun to print out the Catacombs of Terror. So this is the expansion, the second expansion. I haven't got the Orcs one yet. I have the Orcs at level Orc Lord on PDF, but it's just a scan, and I was hoping to see if these are little monk things that he's done. If there was no CR1 of that, because I just prefer it. It's just easier to print out, and then obviously I'll try and track down the proper ones, but no one's making any money from them apart from people selling them on eBay, which is, you know, I don't know. So anyway, got this. There's a reason for this later on, and also, you know, I've got most of the White Dwarfs anyway. There's also this compendium of the White Dwarf articles. Basically, this is all the articles in here. So I've got this. That's cool. I've got the originals anyway, but this just makes it easier to flip through and read. Now, the reason you might be asking about the cards and so forth, which I'm going to get onto next, because the whole reason why I decided to go down the sort of 2D route for the time being is because it would take me too long to do this in 3D, but it means, because I've printed out the original sort of tiles here, it does mean what I can do is print out the expansions. So that's what this comes from. These are the original room ones, and the White Dwarf ones, which is what this is the sewer section from White Dwarf. So, you know, I can print these out quite easily. So underneath here, you know, we've got all the base rooms, but then we got, that's the, what's the name, Quick's thing. It says the Skaven one. These are all just the base ones. But we got like the skull room from the catacombs, and then underneath here we have the dead end from White Dwarf. I have two of these because I have the White Dwarf version that I printed out and the one from the actual supplement, but the cards are slightly different, so I printed that too. You never know, I might end up with two of them in the game. That's how crazy I want this thing to go. So we've got, you know, that's from Lair of the Orc Lord. Try and get rid of some of these models. We've seen all these in some of the last videos. Just going to try and remove all these as carefully as possible. I should have planned ahead for this, but it just looks so cool when you open up, seeing everything in here. I'm probably in time not going to keep the models in the box. Probably get them safely tucked away somewhere. So we have this. I love that. Just that real bright light shining from there. Looks great. That's another reason why I kind of do want to stick with these now I've done them, because you just can't beat this art. No matter how well I try and do it in 2.5D, I just can't do it. But I'll give it a whirl anyway. I might not make all of them. I've got all the base game done and one of the quest rooms. So yeah, that's from an expansion. And then the base ones. Next one. Now, this appeared in White Dwarf and in the Lair of the Orc Lord, I think it was. So I printed two out just for that reason, really. Just to say I've got them. And then also had Spiral Staircase from White Dwarf. The gel from White Dwarf. Hey, look at that, that's just amazing. And another one of those. Yep, that's cool. We have these. Spell cards we saw last time, but I come on to these later on. Yeah, so that's also yeah, let's come on to, so because I couldn't find, because I was making it 2.5D, I couldn't find the dungeon cards separate, so I just made my own. But that's really come in handy for this, because this is a White Dwarf token for the gel key. Because, you know, what it means is I can do is, so here's my base ones that come from the base game. It means now I can do things like, so the base ones, when it comes to, this is layer, yeah, so when it comes to the White Dwarf ones, you're not going to notice the cards different because they're exactly the same. So here we go, here's the dead end from White Dwarf. So, you know, they just look like they're part of the same gel set, even though I printed them out, so that's great. And then we're on to the expansions. So that's great, so I'm really pleased I sort of did that in the end, and that's led me on to another journey, which we'll cover in a minute. But first, also, there is a load of fan-made tile sections and bits and bobs, so I can print those cards out. Here we go, here's a fan-made section from the crypt. I haven't done the tile for this yet. I need to run out of materials, and obviously the current situation, quite difficult to get hold of sort of bits and pieces. But when it's all over, I'll be getting on to printing these off. So we've got crypt, cell block, fungus cavern, it's quite a dark image, that one, and the spider's lair is the ones I've got so far. I think that's all of it. Is there another one here? Ah, there's another one. Chasm. Yeah, so I'm really pleased, the kind of serendipity that I made my own dungeon cards, because when it comes to things like this and expanding it, they're all the same. Now that led me to sort of make some of my other cards as well coming up. So what I've got here, these are just the 3 cards from, because I printed out the Catacombs, Terror in the Catacombs. So I've made the cards. You had 3 special cards in here. You had the Undead Minions, Necromantic Magic, and Grimoire Necros. So I printed those out and the double-sided. So I got those. Brilliant. This journey's not over yet, because also in that White Dwarf compendium, as well as the dungeon cards for the tiles, which you've already got, there was a load of other cards. And some of them were treasure cards, so I made those. We have a treasure map for one. Now, as you can see, there is a noticeable difference between my ones and the official. Mainly in the official are slightly faded, slightly more better print than mine here, but it doesn't matter because these are all separate piles. You'd have these in separate piles. So these are all just treasure cards. These are just treasure cards, standard treasure cards. So when you get a normal treasure card, you'd go for this pile. But all the ones in White Dwarf and the expansions are, there's two different types, but I only have one of one. So these are all dungeon room treasure cards. So all the ones in White Dwarf and expansions you get in dungeon rooms, which is great. And there's one card that is an objective room card, so I can have 3 different piles. Boom. And it doesn't matter that these are a slightly different look to these, because when you draw a normal treasure card, you go from here. In a dungeon room, you go from here. Objective room, you're going to go from here, so that doesn't matter. So that's really pleased. There are 3 treasure card packs. Now I want to look into, I do have PDFs of those, so I want to look at what they are. If they're just normal cards, I'm going to try and buy them so they're matching with the originals. If they're dungeon room or objective room cards only, they're getting made, printed out and joining this pack. So that's good. Also in that White Dwarf compendium and in the White Dwarf magazines, you've got Dark Secret cards. So I've made those. There's 8 of them. I think there is someone's made a fan edit of more, but that's cool. I don't mind. I've got these 8 here. These are the official ones that are in White Dwarf, so I can get these on the jump in the game as well. So I've got these. There's all 8 of them. That's brilliant. So that's cool. Now, the event cards I had got a full set here of the official ones. Great, don't need those. But if I'm making cards, why stop there? Look at these for event cards. So what we have here in this massive deck here is the base ones. So redos of these just so they match. But all the events from the roleplay book have been put into card form. Let's see if we can see it. So all the event cards that are in White Dwarf have been put in here. The events on the roleplay book, as you can see here, some of the writing is quite small. So if you get too small, you could sort of refer back to the roleplay book. But all the monsters from the base game are here as well. All the monsters from White Dwarf are in here. All the monsters from the 2 supplements are in here as well. And one thing you maybe notice when you look at this already is something slightly different from the base game. In the base game, it just has the type card in both corners, MM, and so that's a monster. So just check if I bring up a monster, and the gold down the bottom. Now on mine, I have done something slightly different, because I want themed decks in time. Like in Advanced Hero Quest, where you got the monster matrices. So if you want a dungeon just full of scathing, you'd use the scathing monster matrices. Kind of want that in Warhammer Quest. But I know you got the tables, but they're still mixed, and I can make my own tables. But one thing I like about Warhammer Quest is the fact it's card based. So I'm going to make my own cards, which I have been doing here, but my own themed cards. So even though this is just the general generic ones for if I just want to play either the base game, the expansions, or a White Dwarf, that's what these are for. I've still designed it the same way, so already. So what we have here, the type in the corner as normal, but in the other corner it has this symbol here that tells you what deck it is from. This is Orc base, so it tells me it's from Lair of the Orc Lord. But when I do my generic monster cards, which I'll get onto in a minute, they're down this pile here, I'll show you. They also represent it's just an Orc themed deck. Gold's the same down here, and this here is the level it's intended for. So really, I think someone's probably going to tell me that the expansions are for characters different levels. I've just put them all for level 1. I might adjust that by hand on my cards here and then sort of go in and re-edit, because I think it's like Orc Lords for levels whatever, and Crypt is 7 and up, I believe. Could be wrong, someone correct me on that. But yeah, they all have followed that design. So what we have here is if it's got the skull, it means it's undead, or for Crypt of Terror. It's just got the Warhammer, it just means it's generic. You can use it in any dungeon. So so this Goblin Spearman's for goblins. You have the Minotaur. These are from the base game, but I've even done it for the base game. So the Minotaur is going to have Beastman symbol. Skaven I probably won't be able to find now, but there is a Skaven in here somewhere. So these are all from the base game, just normal base game cards redone in my style. Yeah, there's the Skaven symbol. I don't think I have any chaos separate in here in the base game, was there? No. But yeah, so that's what that means. That means I can have themed decks now. I can either just use these to begin with and just go through, and sort of the bats, rats and spiders now are generic, so you can throw 3 generic ones in there and some themed ones, but you can get a real good themed dungeon going on. But I've taken it a step further with this deck here. Now these, whereas this is just the basic White Dwarf and the supplements and the roleplay book events, which you can still use some of them in the other decks as well if you want, but these are going to be specifically tailored for a theme. So this is the undead deck. So you can see it's taken from the tables in the Catacombs of Terror supplement. So it's for levels 1 and 2, so you have some mummies, zombies, a mummy, etc. Giant spider or gigantic spider. So even though, here we go, 2d6 giant rats, even though you have giant rats in the general one, I've tailored this specifically for the undead, so you can just, you don't have to worry about using this deck here. You can go straight to this if you want to just have a pure undead experience, but you'd still get some fairly general stuff like bats and rats and spiders without worrying about mixing up this deck here. So I'm looking forward to that, so I'm going to jump straight in. All the events from the Catacombs of Terror have been put in card form as well, so you don't need to roll on it. So you've got all these. So yeah, this is effectively an undead themed dungeon for levels 1 to 2. I'll probably do the others at a later date, sort of the other levels. I'm currently working on doing the same for orcs, and obviously there's no events for the Skaven anywhere, I don't believe. I might scour through White Dwarf and some of these just to pull out and redo, but if I ever find some, that's what I'll be doing, putting some Skaven sort of stuff and some chaos and some bits and pieces. So anyway, that's where I'm at with my progress in this crazy project I'm doing. It started off in one sort of direction and quickly spiraled out to be go into a different direction. It was just meant to be make my own sort of base game, and now it's gone to make everything that's available for it, and then not only that, but take it a step further and expand upon it with my themed deck idea, which I think I'm going to love, because I do love that about Advanced Hero Quest, the actual themedness of it. You get some decent themes going on with the matrices, so I wanted to just try and bring that into Warhammer Quest. So that's where I am with it.